G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. I do hope you enjoyed today's bloody good episode, and with that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie. Let's get right into it. Cheers! Posted by a throwaway account, titled, "My husband just left me because he's been hit on by a woman for the first time in his life." God, I'm so angry. I don't know. Everything. Right now. And this feels so effed up, I don't even want to talk to my BFF about this right now. It hurts too much at the moment. My husband just told me that he's leaving me, and I can't believe the reason. I need to give some background. I am 34 female, and my husband is 38 male. We've been married for almost 2 years, have dated 2 years before that, so overall a bit more than 4 years. He's always been very insecure about himself, even though he has a great personality, or so I thought, is generous, caring, can express his emotions, and all this stuff. When I got to know him better, I couldn't believe that he wasn't taken. In fact, he had only been in 2 relationships in his life, both 5+ years long though. He told me that's because he's shy and ugly, and women don't really want anything from him, like ever, especially not good-looking ones. I'm fairly conventionally attractive, and he's kept telling me for the past years how lucky he feels to finally have found his dream woman, and then her being as attractive as me. I was wary at the beginning though, so I let him court me a bit before going out with him for the first time, etc. I really was fearing for some dark secret of his that I just hadn't uncovered yet, plus I don't want to look easy. But turns out no, he really is a sweet guy and is just very shy. I also don't think he's ugly. He's not in any way super handsome or so, and frankly, originally I thought he wasn't my type, but his charm melted all of that away quickly. Once we started thoroughly dating, things went fast, because it all was so wonderful. Well, apparently a while ago, he was on his own in the outside area of a restaurant, having lunch when this woman went by, and she apparently struck up conversation with him. He's shown me a picture of her since I asked him, and she is drop-dead gorgeous. Maybe I'm exaggerating because I'm so mad, but she definitely looks better than me, I have to admit. He didn't tell me much about what they talked about, just that she was very friendly and they exchanged numbers and started texting more and more often. She says she at some point openly started pursuing him even though she knew that he was married, saying she really just fell for him and can't let this opportunity pass. He said that he was hesitant once he realized that she was hitting on him, and he was also excited because this literally has never happened in his life. In the past, he repeatedly said that women, at least attractive ones like me, have it easy, because we can lean back and let the guys approach us, whereas for him, it was always hard work to even get a single date. I always replied that it's not really like that, and that being attractive has its own problems, but he then always reminded me of the fact that he had to work really hard to get me to date him too. He swears he has only ever met her one more time, for lunch, after their first encounter, and that he thinks that it's not yet an affair. However, he thinks that he wants to go forward with her, because as he put it, this is the first woman who is genuinely interested in me. I didn't have to text her for 3 months to get a date or anything. I can't let this pass. Or something along those lines. My memory's a bit hazy. The 3 months refers to the time that it took him to get a date with me, by the way. And that's why he says he is breaking up with me. He says that it's the right thing to do because he wants to continue contact with her, but also feels that doing that would be emotional cheating and he doesn't want to cheat on me. So he ends it before actually starting something with her. I feel devastated. I know there's nothing that I can do. I want to be mad at him, but I'm also mad at myself. I really liked him when we first met. Why did I give him a hard time? If I had said what I wanted back then, if I had pursued him instead of playing hard to get, he probably wouldn't be interested in that woman. But I always felt if a woman does that, she shows that she's easy, and I didn't want to just get laid. So I thought I must act that way. And now it's biting me in the ass. And I, of course, am very mad at him, but he didn't even cheat on me. He's behaving exactly the way that I always say people should act when they fall in love with someone else. Ugh, I kinda wish he had actually cheated on me with her, as that would make it actually easier. Thanks for letting me rant. I don't need advice. I know I'm screwed. Notable comments by OP. Yes, that. It hurts so much. He says it's because this is the first time he doesn't feel like a beggar with a woman. But I mean, that's how the dating game is, right? We can't make it too easy for men, or they think we are easy. He first started mentioning the 3 months thing after I told him that as soon as he started talking to me back then, I fell for him. But I intentionally made him wait. Truth be told, I was head over heels for him 5 minutes after first starting talking to him. So he always pulled my leg saying, "You made me wait 3 months even though you knew after 5 minutes. I sort of get what he's complaining about there, but then again, I think that's what I have to do as a woman to ensure a guy has honest intentions. On the not liking him, that's only in regards to his physical appearance. He's a bit on the chubby side, and well, early hair loss and such. Only judging looks, I honestly never would have talked to him. We got introduced by a common friend, so we got to talking, and that captivated me. But I honestly told him that physically, he's technically not my type. I wish I could see it like that, but you don't know him. I mean, yeah, in college I would have called him a loser, but back then I was stupid, I guess. Thanks and yes. Frankly, I don't know why she approached him. I mean, for me it doesn't matter, but he's not exactly Chris Hemsworth. I know what you mean, but I don't think it's fair. I mean, men and women are different. I know he told me that he always felt ugly and stuff, but I mean, I married him. And well, I mean, women get compliments. But I had no idea that men are looking for compliments too. It's true, I never had to work, quote-unquote, to meet men, but then again, I had to sieve through so many losers. I wish I could say that you're right on him settling for me, but he's a very honest guy, and I truly felt like he always was madly in love with me. I don't think he really cheated on me though. As I said, that would make it so much easier to hate him. Well, kinda, but I mean, if I just told him right away that I liked him, then I would have looked easy. But after all, he's the man, I'm the woman, and you don't buy your husband flowers or jewelry or a massage, do you? It's always been like that for me. Further in the comments, Lady Navia says, "Do not worry. If that woman is drop-dead gorgeous and pursued him while she knew that he was married, then she is bonkers and trash, and this will bite both of them in their asses soon enough. This is the case where trash took itself out. Your husband should have worked on his self-esteem issues and not jumped for the first woman who gave him attention like this. You were not at fault in this situation." Exactly. If that woman actively pursued him, knowing full well that he was married, then I think this tells a lot about her character. Letting go of a 4-year relationship with a person you love just because of a random hot person usually doesn't go well. That's just bananas. I thought I was insecure, but he takes the cake. Crazy town. Feels like you dodged a bullet. Imagine him pulling this shit after 10 years of marriage and 3 kids in. I'm so sorry, but I don't think there's anything you could have done different to have a different outcome. He will always be insecure, and this experience will give him validation for a bit, then he will continue looking for it outside of himself. Back up to the post, there is an edit. Holy crap, this blew up so much. First, thank you so much for your comments, this is much appreciated. And also some of you made me really think. I still feel like this was unwarranted, and if he was so happy, he should have told me. But I guess I wasn't as good as a wife as I thought. I didn't really show him that I love him, and why, and didn't put in much effort, and someone said he was starving for attention, and I guess that's my fault in a way. Ugh. Still, I think just dropping me like this isn't right. I managed to get the courage to talk to my BFF, and we'll meet later so I can tell her everything, and she spontaneously will take me out for a spa weekend. I hope I can get my head clear there. I was so scared, but she was not at all condescending. She's the best. I feel like I couldn't have mustered up the courage for that were it not for all of your support. So thank you all so much, even the critical ones. I think there's a lot going on here, and I think there is a lot that you could have done previous in this marriage. I think there is a lot more that he could have done also. I think him leaving straight away and not dragging out the cheating, because I feel like it was some emotional cheating going on there, was the right thing to do. Though you paint a bad picture of your husband. I mean, this is the man that you chose to settle down with and chose to marry, and you don't particularly talk very nice of him in your comments. That's where I'm torn between you should be open and honest and tell the truth, and how much truth is too hurtful and goes against you. And therefore, my biases and my preconceptions about people are always warped because of reliable and unreliable narrators on here, you know? I think all of this could have been avoided by him, though, if he just stuck to the age-old truth of, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. If I were in his shoes, I wouldn't be messaging this woman. I'd be taking the approach of, hey, cheers for the compliment, but I'm married. Please leave me alone. But he's insecure. I get that. It's already happened. This is in the past. We gotta look to the future. And now, on to the updates. A couple days ago, I posted here about my husband suddenly leaving me because of, well, having experienced for the first time that a woman actually showed active interest in him. Yesterday, my husband and I met for the first time since he up and left last Friday. And frankly, after the meetup, I was very shaken, so it took me until today to be able to write this. Since so many people have reached out to me with helpful comments and all, I think you deserve an update, but I really wasn't up to it yesterday. Also, this is really long, that's what she said, so sorry in advance, there's just so much to cope with. So here we go. The situation felt very awkward, and I got the impression that the whole time that he genuinely feels sorry for how things were, and that what he is doing is hurting me. I know many of you said that he's a douche, a cheater and whatnot, and I really understand you, and am mad at him myself, but on the other hand, you all do not know him like I do. He's a very honest person. He despises lying, and is really bad at this. He carries his heart on his tongue, and I know him well enough to sense his feelings. Did that help me? Not much. Now, even if I wished, I couldn't paraphrase our talk, and I'm sure I'll miss certain things, and overall, it was a mixture of him telling and me asking questions, and all is a big flurry in my head, so I'll just summarize, I guess. First, he told me that he really loved me, and he still does, but he just feels that his feelings for the new woman are stronger. He told me her name, let's call her Jasmine, which is not her real name, and he admits that Jasmine is gorgeous, but claims that that on its own was in no ways relevant for his decision. Yeah, right. He told me that she originally approached him because of a book he was reading during lunch. Supposedly, the book's author is her uncle, and she was able to tell my husband some funny stories about the time her uncle drafted that book. He says he and Jasmine have very similar interests. Jasmine also reads sci-fi as he does because of said uncle who is a sci-fi author, and both like gaming and stuff. He says after they exchanged numbers, they initially only wrote about stuff like that, and later on, they talked about other hobbies and interests and found more and more common ground, as he put it. He also admitted that like 2 weeks ago or so, he started to wonder if he should actively tell me about her, seeing how she turned from an acquaintance to what he deems a friend. I interjected that they don't know each other long enough to consider her a friend, but he says he feels Jasmine is really genuine with him. This is a man who cannot pick up on social clues unless they are spelled out for him, but whatever. He also feels a lot more in tune with Jasmine than he does with me. Admittedly, we seem to have less common interests, but I never felt like I have to be exactly like my partner. Opposites can complement each other well, and I always felt we do. Well, looks like he feels much happier with someone catering to his interests a lot more. He also became a bit self-critical then. He says after he left for his friend's place, he sat down and reread his conversation history with Jasmine, and he realized that she had indeed been flirting with him before she told him she wanted more. It didn't start out flirtatious, but he admits that he totally missed that. He opened up the app on his phone and showed me the beginning, and then when she started flirting. He might have tuned the messages, but at least the beginnings really read friendly. The flirtatious parts, however, were blatantly obvious in my eyes, but anyway, he actually blames himself for that and says that while that doesn't change his feelings for her, it means that he should have noticed this earlier and, well, he said, make the decision to pursue her earlier. That sort of broke me, and I started sobbing because it sounds as if I never had a chance compared to Jasmine. He even wanted to console me, and I allowed that for a couple of minutes, but then I sought some distance again. It both felt good and bad to be in his arms. Then it was time to ask me why she is so attractive to him that he leaves me, his wife, for just the mere possibility of being with another woman. I mentioned that someone, I didn't see Reddit, suggested she might be a scam or just interested in breaking up marriages and going after men who were taken and such. He, of course, vehemently denied that. Supposedly, they met last Sunday to go out for dinner, and they talked about the fact that she approached him even though he's married, and she claims to have a really bad conscience about this, and that she never would have done it had she not felt such a deep connection between them, blah blah blah. I must admit I really struggled through that part, because if it is true, it hurts me, and if it isn't, it hurts even more that he falls for bullshit. He then told me in excruciating detail about his dating life, and how long he was a virgin, and how he always treated girls back in middle school and high school, and by the women in college and later on. How he really feels that he always has to be the one initiating, fighting even for a chance, and felt like he was always treated as unworthy by almost all women, and how that made him bitter. He admitted that, but also how he always thought that someone who truly fits him, fits his personality, his character, his being, would be someone who would make him not jump through hoops, someone who would outright tell him that she is intrigued by him and wants him. He says he loves me dearly and was always very grateful for being with me, but that even with me, he always felt somewhere between a beggar and the subject of a pity party, where I bestowed the grace of my companionship onto him instead of actually liking and wanting him. When I asked him whether that means he settled for me, he vehemently denied that. He said that when we started to date, I really treated him better than any woman had done before, so he really thought that this was what he had been looking for, and before meeting Jasmine, he never felt like he needed more. I, of course, tried to tell him that I am not with him out of pity or anything, and explained why I made him wait 3 months, and why I think the man should court the woman, and so forth, and then I also admitted that I might not have given him the appreciation he deserved. This time, it actually was his turn to drop tears for a bit. He said hearing that made him both grateful and unhappy that he never really communicated better about this. I told him that hearing him say that feels like he's putting the blame on me. And I swear to God, his eyes like doubled their size, and he looked genuinely shocked. And he apologized many times, and said he didn't want me to actually think that he has any bad feelings about having to wait back then, and that this is a situation where no one is to blame, but especially not me. He said that I've been a wonderful wife and all, but that with Jasmine, it just feels different, and like a deeper connection that the two of us have, and that while he thought that I was wonderful, he now realizes that what he really was looking for in life was something else. So he said that reconciliation isn't really an option because he realized that we're not right for each other, and even if it doesn't work out with Jasmine, he knows now that he actually needs something that I just not am. I mentioned marriage counseling, and he said that it's not like our marriage has issues, but that the issue is that we're just not right for each other. Holy shit, surprisingly mature response from him. That's crazy, I respect that actually. There were more things said, and maybe I'll add some later, but right now I am too mentally exhausted, especially when I still don't feel like I can hate him because he felt so freaking honest. I think that he at least truly believes all the things he said, but that woman still might be a total liar or a scam. He at least promised to be careful with her financial-wise, but he assured me that she's not that. I don't know what to make of any of this. It hurts, and I guess my marriage is over. Here's some more notable comments by OP. He actually looked really miserable. I don't think he wants to hurt me. I wonder if I want to hurt him though. What do you mean by that? What do you mean that you want to hurt him? Why do you want to hurt him, OP? What's going on? As much as he's a dickhead, he's still been graceful in this breakup. Why do you want to hurt him for that? I don't like those vibes. Well, I mean, it's not like this is just the first woman who hit on him since we started dating or so. It's literally the first woman to do that in his entire life. While personally, I can't imagine that because I get hit on at least once a day. I get it. It must be difficult for him. I just thought that I was enough for him. Is wasband short for waste of a husband? I have to admit that by now I realize I didn't. I took him for granted. I saw myself as the prize which he constantly has to fight for. I always thought that it's showing enough that I married him and tell him I love him and, well, be his wife. That's giving me bad vibes too. I don't know. I don't like what you have to say here. Again, it's all well and good being truthful, but it doesn't help your case. This makes me less sympathetic. I don't know how to put this. He's not very physically attractive, and he is very insecure and rather nerdy and shut off. Unless he's lawyering, which is the only thing that he feels like he's actually good at, even though he is good at so many things. And when he was younger, he wasn't just chubby, he was outright fat, and always hated himself for it, and all. I do believe him when he says that, and actually his sister has told me a couple of times how he always was miserable when he was younger because of this. I was just trying to be honest there. Looking back from here, I obviously totally would have appreciated him more, but if there had been no Jasmine, how serious would I have taken him? I know myself I might have brushed it off, which would have been wrong. I just don't want to portray myself as perfect, because this screw-up has shown me I'm not. He's got a wonderful personality, at least I thought so. Really, he's normally so sweet and caring, and helpful and attentive, and all. When I talked to him, his appearance quickly melted away by his character, because, well, really, he's honest and open-minded and believes in justice and all that. He's not a loser. He's a really sweet person. I think no woman wanted him because they never talked to him. What? He's not a loser, but he's not physically attractive? He's really insecure? He's a nerd and shut off? I get that those are descriptors, but the way that you're describing him, it's not very respectful. Further in the comments, Lavellan says, "Let him go. The reality of online dating is going to knock him on his ass." Patiently waiting for the update in 6 months that he tried to crawl back because Tinder scarred him. I would love for it not to turn out this way, but from the way that she's speaking, it sounds like she might take him back unless she finally gets a cycle of anger pumping through her. She needs it to move on. My ex-husband was very similar to this guy. Insecure because he was short and skinny, blah blah. He went on a school trip with one of our kids and met another mum there. They exchanged numbers and started texting, and he said that he wanted to open up our marriage and practice ethical non-monogamy. It's something that I'd said in the past I would possibly be open to, but would never ever push anyone into it. I agreed and had no problems getting dates. The other woman he was interested in only wanted to screw him if I didn't know and her husband didn't know. He was absolutely emasculated by Tinder, whereas I had a regular boyfriend who was super nice to me. I also reconnected with my first crush, and we ended up together. I at first offered to close back up the marriage, but he said that would cause resentment. Anyway, long story short, I am now happily divorced from my ex, married to my soulmate, and he treats me, and more importantly, my kids way better than my ex ever did. He's also actually a partner who helps with cleaning and cooking without being asked. X had one brief relationship and now volunteers for a non-paying committee in addition to his work, so he's frequently traveling on the weeks that he's supposed to have his kids, leaving them with his mum. People need to read all of the comments that OP left in the original that weren't included in this post. I promise no one would feel bad for her if they did. Even with the comments included, I thought she looked bad. Just reading the ones that were posted here already gave me bad vibes about the way that she treated him. Right? OP never hit on her husband, and Jasmine was the first one to do it? Get the hell out. OP screwed around and found out. She wanted to play games and make her husband chase her and do the work. The man found his self-respect and realized everyone deserves to be desired. For example, there's a lid for every pot. Something tells me that it wouldn't have mattered if Jasmine wasn't conventionally attractive. I started out this post thinking, okay, typical story where younger girl is mildly interested in an older guy, the guy throws his life away for her, and a week or two later realizes it was a mistake. And then we got to the OP talking about how she led him on for 3 months, despite liking him before that, as I've been in a similar situation before and it was downright cruel. She also would have called him a loser in college. Like, what? You're calling people losers when you're in college? Seems to me like he realized his self-worth, and OP is mad because someone she sees as below her league is ending the relationship. Yeah, as you can see, there's a typical Redditification of the comments there, where some people are on the OP's side, and this stretch of people are obviously not. I'm on their side for this one. I don't like the vitriol that she's been spewing, and I should have read more comments from her side, yes, but this would be an hour long. She left so many comments on both posts. I think you can date people however you'd like to date them, but if they don't like the fact that you led them on for 3 months before going on an official date with them, he's allowed to feel that way. He's allowed to want to feel desired, you know? If you didn't make him feel desired in that marriage and then someone else gives him something that he wants, I don't think you should be upset that he leaves the marriage in a respectful way to get what he wants, to be with someone that's more compatible with him. And again, thank you for being a reliable narrator and giving us all the details in this one because, you know, it's not so black and white, it's grey. And I'm on his side for this one. Even if he did somewhat emotionally cheat in this, I think it's for the best. I think you both need a partner that is better for the both of you. This marriage wasn't perfect, and obviously it was sinking. And he's just gotten off ship before, the Titanic happens. Anyway, I'd love to know what you guys have to think about this one in the comments. I think it'd be quite interesting, the discourse. And our next post doesn't have an update, but it sounded pretty cool, so I'm going to read it, by user Trav Goes West, titled, "Am I the asshole for telling my friend I didn't know she cared about their health that much? I, male 28, have been friends with Jen, female 27, for over 10 years. For a bit of background, over the last 8 years, Jen has been gaining weight, and for the past 4 has been morbidly obese. We're no longer able to do things that we used to do. Concert venues she can no longer fit in the chairs, hiking, going to the farmer's market, kayaking, etc. Through all of it, we've adjusted to accommodate what Jen can do. A few months ago, I moved into a new apartment and got the water tested for heavy metals, nitrate, bacteria, and fluoride through my state's health department. Everything came back clear, so I've been drinking the water because I don't want to waste single-use plastic bottles if I can avoid it. Jen came over for the first time this week, and I offer her some water and she says, 'You're not getting that from the tap, are you?' I explain the tests that I had done on it so it's safe, and she says that it's not healthy to drink tap water and she can only drink bottled water. I said I didn't realize that she cared about her health that much. Oh, yo, you can't say that, Jesus. She asked what's that supposed to mean? And I said the past few years, I've noticed a change in her habits and am concerned that she's going to have more health problems that will one day take her life. I thought when she was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, it might be a wake-up call to change her eating and exercise habits, but instead, she's focusing on tap water? She said I was treating her different for gaining weight and that there was nothing wrong about her eating and I was just being fat-phobic. Am I the asshole for telling my friend I didn't realize she cared about her health that much? In the comments, Shitsuri says, "You're the asshole. I think it was just an unnecessary and rude escalation, although you obviously have wanted to talk about it for a while. This, a simple, 'sorry, I don't have bottled water,' would have sufficed." Yeah, especially because so many weight problems are rooted in issues with someone's lack of control, and cruel comments tend to pull someone's locus out of control outwards, causing them to feel like they're not in control of their own body, not inwards, feeling like they do have control, which is where it's most healthy for it to be in the context of weight loss. People really don't get that tough love often has the exact opposite effect of what they supposedly intend, although some people also just use tough love as an excuse for cruelty and don't actually intend to help. Fat-shaming someone to help them is like noticing that it's really hot in a room, recognizing that it could be dangerous to health for it to be that way, and deciding to fix it by turning the temperature up. Some people legitimately do think that they're being helpful when they do it, or that it's just been normalized to them, but that still doesn't change how unhelpful their actions are. Paradoxically, people who don't focus on weight find it much easier to lose weight. Calling attention to it in an unhelpful, rude way is much more likely to cause the wrong kind of awareness and damage someone's ability to lose weight by making weight the focus, rather than health. I didn't realize you cared about your health so much? Oof. That sounds like something my grandma would say to a fat person. Such a rude, sassy, passive-aggressive way to talk to a friend. You sound like you could be in a Real Housewives franchise with all of that shade. You're the asshole, Shade Queen. Yeah, I just think of it in terms of that really was an unnecessary escalation, and this conversation could have been had in a more respectful way at a different time. And like, if they really are your friend, you shouldn't be an asshole to them. This isn't like oh, I'm just brutally honest. I'm just a brutally honest kind of guy. They can't handle me. It's not that kind of situation. It's more like, hey, if they want my help, if they want, guidance from you, or they want your opinion, they will ask for it. You go to friends as a safe space, and like, I understand that there's a line between enabling and safe space, but there's a real good chance that when you approach situations out of the blue like this and just start attacking them, that you're not going to have that friend in your life much longer. And you might also lose friends in the periphery that are attached to this friend for your behavior. Actions do indeed have consequences, and I think that this was an unnecessary attack by you. I do think you're the asshole here. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.